What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for yet another video. I've been lacking on the Land Rover content lately, and I apologize, but I've just been skiing so much and out there, and not much has changed. But today I would figure I would share every single modification and maintenance thing I've done since owning this vehicle for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. So let's get into it. This is my 2006 Land Rover LR3, and I've had it since last August, and it's now the end of January. It did not come to me like this. I've changed a lot, as you can probably see, and it had 181,000 miles when I got it, and now I have about 187,000, so I put about 6,000 miles on her, and it's been pretty fun. So, for starters, I'll talk about maintenance a little bit. It hasn't been terribly bad like everyone's talked about, and it's been pretty simple stuff. So the drain tubes in the sunroof that lead down this pillar and then out, this one comes out down in the fender, and the other side comes out the vent. Those were leaking, so it rained pretty good the first week I had it, and I had water in my floor wells. So you have to either get new tubes and cut the ends, reconnect them, and I kind of just found some tubing and rerouted them out the bottom, and it solved my problems. That was the first thing I had to do. The next thing I went ahead and did was all of the brakes all around the car. Let me flip you back around. So if you can tell in there, they are drilled, and actually I don't think they are slotted. There are drilled rotors down in there. I don't know if you can tell all that well, but there are drilled rotors all the way around all four corners. The brakes that were on there were terrible, so I had to replace them. And by the way, guys, I have a playlist with all of my Land Rover videos. I'll put it up here. You can check those out. I have my M6 videos, another playlist. I'll also throw that up there. That's my other car. It's my summer vehicle for the most part. So I went ahead and did the rotors. That was definitely something that needed to be done, and pads. And I'll have links to stuff that I talked about in the description below. So if you want to check something out, you can definitely do that. I went ahead and picked up Johnson rods, 2.5-inch lift. Essentially, with an air suspension system on the vehicle, you swap out a little rod. Again, I have videos. I'll link them in that playlist. And it lifts the air suspension 2.5 inches just by swapping out this little piece. And by doing that, I was able to get this wheel and tire set up. Now this is going into the mod stuff, but yeah, so as soon as I got the thing, I did that. I also did tints all the way around. I have 5% tint on every window and 40% up here on the windshield. So it's definitely dark. You can't see in the sides at all. The front you can barely see in during the bright daylight. And I went ahead and did that because if I'm camping or if I have a bunch of gear in the back, I didn't want people being able to look in here and see all of my stuff, because that would really entice people to break in, and I like my stuff. As for other maintenance I've had to do, let's spin the camera. My rear brake lines actually ruptured on me after I had gotten tie rods. So I was getting an alignment done. I went and got tie rods because I needed them, and then my rear brake lines were leaking as soon as I got home. So I went ahead myself and replaced both rear brake lines from the middle of the vehicle all the way to the rear, and they've been great since. I upgraded the line to like the copper stuff, and I haven't had any issues. Flushed the system a couple times, and that's about it. Other than that, all I've done is an oil change recently because I wasn't sure the last time it was done, and yeah, I swapped the MAF out. Didn't like it, so I swapped it back. And otherwise, let's get into all the different modifications I've done on this thing. So clearly we're not sitting at stock ride height, and I got so much trash thrown at me for what I did to the suspension. I swapped out the factory air system. You can't see in there, but let me do this. If you look in here, I have coil suspension on this vehicle. So basically what that means, so I set that back. What that means is I removed all the airbags, and I have Atlantic British 2.5-inch lift with the heavy old man emu springs, like the heavy duty ones. so it technically can handle more weight if you're towing or have a bunch of stuff in the back. So it's a 2.5-inch lift, and before I had done the lift, I had gotten this wheel and tire setup. So this is a Falcon Wild Peak AT3, and I mounted on an American Racing, I think it's an ART01 or 201. Again, I have videos in the playlist up there of when I first got these. And when I originally got this set up, this is a, I want to say it's a 275, 65, 18. And what I would do on my next set is go down a little on the sidewall. This is a 2-inch lift and not a 2.5, so you will rub if you are turning really, really hard. So down here, I've cut away that section to help with some of the trimming, and it has helped, but not solved everything. Obviously, there's a giant roof rack up here. This is a Front Runner Slimline 2, the full shebang, and I went with the full rack, as you might be able to see up there. And so far, I've really liked it. I've had people comment a lot on that video as well. And I went with this one because it's super modular, and they make every attachment you'd ever want on planet Earth for these things. And on the side here, I've got fake Max Tracks. These are like Amazon ones. They're like 65 bucks, I want to say. And then I have a Front Runner angled mount, so that sits off of there. And as you can see, I've got these bolts running through here because I had to basically modify it to fit the fake Max Tracks. I still have to chop this down, and then I want to get some wing nuts instead of regular bolts. And then I just have a cable lock to secure those so nobody steals them. And then this new addition for this winter is this Thule ski rack. This thing will hold 6 pairs of skis or 4 snowboards. And there's a better view of the top of the rack on this side. It also doesn't come with this wind fairing. I've made a video about that, installing this. This is like an extra $150. And I gotta say, I always get questions. The roof rack is noisy. It's noisy from 30 miles an hour all the way up to like 80 miles an hour. This thing doesn't go much faster than like 85. It's noisy. The wind fairing helps a good bit when you're going slower and stuff. I think it helps with a lot of like the driving wind, but if you have any sort of crosswind, it's going through all the bars, all of your attachments, it's dragging on everything. It's loud. If you're not gonna really use it like a lot, then I definitely probably wouldn't recommend a full one, even if you're just doing like a ski rack, maybe just like crossbars. But it does look cool. You can stand on it, and I have more plans for attachments in the future, so I'm gonna get my use out of it. They're also not cheap, so if you're just carrying like skis or something like that, the crossbars are a lot cheaper, and that's the route I would probably go. But like I said, I'm gonna use this thing a lot. And over on this side up top here, I've got the Front Runner spade mount, which is essentially just a shovel mount. You can put a rake in there, whatever. And I'll also show you guys like this side of the truck. If I can balance it. And so when I talked about those drains, one of them routes like into there. But this is the spade mount, and how this kind of works, if I can focus. It's kind of like a snowboard strap where this ratchet goes through here. You can pop it and then clamp it back down. I also just washed the Rover, so it's a bit icy and cold, and my gimbal just did something. There it is. I got some on the inside, some WeatherTech floor mats. These have been really great this winter time because there's a bunch of snow and salt here. So I've got the WeatherTechs, you know, front and back, which is nice. It's a nice touch, especially if you're getting your truck dirty. Otherwise, I haven't done anything in there, and I've literally just bought an aux cord because no Bluetooth, which kind of sucks. Well, I want to say that pretty much covers it. It's got HID headlights. I don't know if those were factory or not, and a bunch of skiing stickers because it's kind of what I do a lot of the time. So if you guys have questions on anything, feel free to comment down below. I'll try my best to respond with the most knowledge possible. It's my gimbal's like freaking out today. I'll try my best to respond with the best of my knowledge, but obviously some of you guys will be like mega experts, and you'll tell me I'm dumb for taking the air suspension off. You'll tell me I'm stupid for getting a big roof rack when I don't have a tent on top and all that. But I don't care. It's my truck. I'm building it how I want to. It's been a tank in the snow. I've taken this thing on several trips that are over 4-hour driving each way. All of that stuff. And the best part, I picked it up for $5 grand. So, as I said, if you want to see videos on anything, I have everything I've done kind of laid out in that playlist, from when I first bought it to the Johnson rod lifts, to the wheels and tires, to the brakes, to the roof rack stuff, and also the coil suspension swap. So check those videos out. Hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. I have more stuff coming for this thing. I promise. It's been back ordered, and I'll definitely have like better videos out on some new stuff that I'm adding, what I'm changing. I have some plans for the springtime. I'm gonna change up the interior of this thing a little bit, and it should be really cool. So hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.